Greetings, dear listeners. Before I begin this story, a story of betrayal, silence, and the day I finally chose myself, I ask you to support this channel. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell me in the comments which city or country you're listening from. Now, let me tell you what happened. The front door slammed shut 3 hours ago, but the sweet, overpowering scent of Vanessa's perfume still hung in the hallway. It never belonged in this old Brooklyn brownstone. This house was used to dust, lavender, and memories, not loud fragrances that demanded attention. I stood alone in the kitchen, staring at the pantry door. The silence felt predatory. I opened the cabinet. Empty. Not almost empty. Completely empty. Vanessa had packed fast. Too fast. Bikinis, sundresses, tanning oil, all stuffed into her suitcase while she talked about Miami beaches and ocean views. Right before leaving, she turned back and held out her hand. "Mom, give me your debit card, just in case. What if the ATM doesn't work?" I hesitated. "That's my entire Social Security check. How am I supposed to eat for 2 weeks?" She rolled her eyes. "You're overreacting. There's a jar of grits somewhere. Boil them. It's healthy. Doctors recommend detoxing at your age." Then she left. I found the jar. It held dust and 3 sad grains. That's when the cold settled in my chest. Not hunger, realization. This wasn't carelessness. This was cruelty. I searched the apartment for loose change. Instead, I found something else. An itinerary. 2 weeks in Miami. Oceanfront hotel. Spa access. The total cost equaled 3 months of my pension. That night I didn't cry. I sat in the living room, surrounded by things I had saved for someday. Antique silver, fine china, a jewelry box I never opened. I wasn't living in a home. I was guarding a museum, waiting to die so someone else could enjoy it. The next morning I made a phone call. An antique dealer named Walter Bennett arrived exactly at 9 a.m. Polite, professional, sharp eyes. He expected junk. He found history. The silver teaspoons alone paid for 5 months of my living expenses. I went to the grocery store I had avoided for 15 years. Imported cheese, fresh bread, prosciutto, peaches that smelled like summer. I set the table with my best china. "I am the guest today," I said aloud. For the first time in years, I ate slowly, not from fear, not from guilt, but from dignity. When Vanessa called from the beach, her voice was smug. "Still alive, Mom? Make sure you water down the grits. It lasts longer." "I'm managing," I said calmly. She laughed. She thought I was starving. She had no idea. The next day I sold the ruby brooch she loved to wear, the one she called hers. It paid for 6 months of freedom. Then I found the folder, a power of attorney, my name, her signature, a brochure for a state nursing facility. She wasn't waiting for me to die. She was planning to remove me. That's when I sold everything. Furniture, paintings, rugs, china. By evening, my refrigerator was full, overflowing with abundance. Caviar, champagne, fresh fruit, food meant for living, not surviving. 2 weeks later, Vanessa came home. She walked into the kitchen, opened the fridge, and screamed. "What is this?" She thought we'd been robbed. "No," I said quietly. "I sold it." Her face collapsed. "That was my inheritance." I looked her in the eyes. "No, sweetheart, it was my life." She called for an ambulance, said I was mentally unstable. Instead, my neighbor arrived, and the antique dealer, with notarized contracts. Everything was legal. Everything was mine. Then I showed her the nursing home brochure. Her color drained. I changed the locks that morning. "Take this," I said, handing her the brochure. "You might need it one day." She left with her suitcase. The apartment has been quiet ever since, but this time, the silence is peaceful. I sit by the window with coffee and salmon on fresh bread. I eat slowly. This is the taste of freedom. Final question for the audience. Was I wrong for choosing myself? At what point does sacrifice become self-destruction? Write your thoughts in the comments and tell me where you're listening from. Thank you for being here.